Pierre, what you says, I'm sure, has a lot of resonance for Mayor Leoluca Orlando. The problem of giving youth a vision, the problem of dealing with a lot of complexity at the same time, from refugee flows, from, I mean, the list is so long that I don't even want to start enumerating it. Leoluca, how you as a mayor, how do you go about with this issue of trust building after all this disruption? COVID is just now one. Many people have lost loved ones. How do you see your role as a mayor in this process of trust building? You need to please unmute yourself.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello to all of you. I wish to say hello to moderator Hakim Kenman. This is the opening ceremony for Peace Week 2020. I think that I have to say thanks for invitation and invitation. I have to say just send my warm greetings to Sami Kanan. Just saying that I feel Swiss for my many presences in Switzerland, and even being born on 1st August, that you know is a very important day for the country. But I come from Palermo, and Palermo is a not European city. Palermo is a Middle East town in Europe. It means it's Mediterranean, not only European. And my opinion about trust is that we can promote trust. We have to promote trust just sharing a language. I think that this initiative, and I wish to say my appreciation for this initiative, is to try to let us to sign a language agreement, just to use the same language, because I trust on people speaking my language. I do not trust on people being on my side but not speaking my language. So let's have different opinions, but let's share language. So I wish to remember Mir, that means peace and world, as Tatiana Voloyeva has said. And back to me, you can see really all the books, so analogic. In front of me is iPad, so digital. Virus and digital, both are really global. Now, I think that we need to share the language. We need just to share the opinion that we have to change our perception of the time. We have to change our perception of the space. I feel me just like a startup of Mayo. It is very funny that I feel a startup of Mayo, because the first time I was elected mayor was in 1985. But I think that after virus and digital, we have the opportunity just to have a different approach in front of the dimension of the life. Just coming back to Palermo. Palermo passed from law enforcement to promotion of human rights. There is no city in Europe so culturally changed like Palermo in the last 40 years. 40 years ago, the mayor had the face of the mafia boss. The church was at the face of the mafia. The ministers, the government, the entrepreneur, they were all having the face of the mafia. After 40 years, I can say that mafia still exists, not only in Geneva, even in Palermo. But mafia does not govern the city of Palermo. You know what a tremendous change. And we changed thanking the mafia, because the mafia killed so much that obliged, helped, invited everybody to change our style of life. And now, for us, it's not enough to respect law. We want to respect and to promote human rights. We defend the human rights of everybody. We defend the human rights of homosexuals, of children, of all people, of migrants, of everybody, because we believe in a slogan, I am a person, we are a community. I am a person, this alternative to the individualism. We are a community, is alternative to close the groups, to close the belonging. And peace, from my opinion, is the first human right, the first communitarian human right. Just like identity is the first individual human right.
Now, and on this trajectory of change in Palermo,
we changed
I
our
think
mind because we discovered the importance of human rights,
Mhm.
starting from the fight against the mafia, starting in the fight just to respect the law. We finally discovered that in many cases the law are against the rights. And my opinion is that the Palermitans, after this fight, are much better than before. It's the same opinion. I think that thanking Osama bin Laden, the Muslim, will be better. And thanking Adolf Hitler, the German, will be better than before. Because we were obliged to open the eyes, to open the mouth, to open here. We were obliged just to see how terrible was the perversion of our identity. And I speak about identity. In my opinion,
this might allow me to just come into this here, because it connects to the notion of how Palermo as a city builds its activities in Palermo in a global partnership of actors, and also with respect to global movement. You have been at the forefront of a movement of, in fact, promoting a shift from law enforcement to human rights-based approaches in the city. So how would you judge, or what would be the sharing of, what would be your experiences on the importance of this connectedness of the city to a global partnership to help you deal with your issues that you have right in front of your doorstep?
I am a co-president, a co-founder of the Global Parliament of Mayors that is based in Den Haag, in Holland. And I just participate to a lot of activities in Mexico, in Colombia, in Peru, in the United States of America, in Georgia, Caucasus, in France, in Germany, and everywhere. I think that we can send a message from the local level. I think in this moment, we need just to change our mind about three fundamental opinions. Identity. I am against the law of the blood. I'm not Palermitan because my father and my mother were Palermitan. I am Palermitan because I decided to be Palermitan. And after this speech, I have the right, the freedom to decide to become Tunisian and Jewish, or German and Hindu. Identity is the first of individual human rights. The second is state. We refuse the idea that the state is a closed space. If you speak with the young people, 20 years old, what is a state? It doesn't understand. For young people, only the world does exist, only the village does exist. What is in the middle between the world and the village is the enemy of the happiness. And finally, homeland. I refuse the idea that my identity comes from my father, from my mother. I refuse the idea that my homeland is chosen by my father and my mother. I have the right to decide what is my homeland. Because believe me, only name of freedom, only name of love, I can have as homeland Italy. The musical national hymn of Italy cannot be heard. It's terrible, it's awful. But it's my choice. So I stand up, I put the hand on my heart, and I say that I love my homeland because in my decision, my wife is not Miss World, but it's my freedom, it's my choice. So I will defend. You understand what I mean? We can just have a new idea of freedom. And speaking about identity, not based on blood. Speaking about state, not closeted. Speaking about homeland, that is a free choice, you can understand how it's changed the idea of peace.
Thank you, mate. How from Palermo, how do you see a value added from a place like International Geneva for your work?
I repeat human rights. And I think that I wish to remark two issues. The first, against any old and new colonialism, we need deeply based local culture of human rights. It is the role of the mayors, it's the role of the cities. We're just to promote in any way, even against the law of our country. I based even in fight against the law of my country, my culture of human rights. Respecting the Constitution, don't worry, but not the law, because sometimes the law is against the Constitution, especially when the state law is against the human rights, migrant or homosexual, women or children. The second, the role of education. I think is a really important role of education, because as Marie Laura Sall said, she spoke about competence and responsibility. competence and responsibility are exactly the issues of the education. It means the role of education is to let the vision to be transformed into domestic and daily values. The role of education is to let the vision to be transformed into domestic life. It is exactly the role. So the two roles of mayors and of teacher is exactly to let the vision to be concrete and daily. Probably you have understood that I am a former professor in the University of Public Law in another geological area, because I wish just to let you notice that I have the numbers the same age of Paolo Petralia. Paolo Petralia and I have the same numbers to indicate our age, 2 and 7. So
On that note,
we are both 2 and 7 years old.
on that note, Paolo, please do come in for a final reflection.